All righty. Hello and good evening, everyone. Hello from Rocky Top, Tennessee. We're going to get started here in just a couple minutes. We are so excited for you all to join us this evening. Like I said, we're going to get started here in just a couple of minutes, but we'll give additional guests just a few moments to log in here. So we're not leaving anyone and starting without anyone. So just a couple of minutes, we'll get started here with the webinar. But again, we are so happy that you all are joining us for the Tennessee Family Series here this evening, and cannot wait to have your questions answered by our wonderful panelists. So we'll get started here in just a moment. All righty, everyone. So we are just a few minutes past 7 o'clock here in Knoxville. So we're going to go ahead and get started here this evening. First and foremost, congratulations to all of our new Tennessee Vols and their families. We cannot wait to welcome you to campus in just a few short weeks, and we are excited to have this opportunity to answer some of your questions and share some information tonight. We will get to as many of your questions as we possibly can over the course of the webinar. So I'd like to go ahead and get started. My name is Patrick Riley. I serve in the Office of New Student Orientation here at the University of Tennessee, and I will also be serving as moderator for tonight's panel. To get us started, I would like to invite our panelists here to go ahead and introduce themselves and the offices that they are representing, and then I will throw out the first question for tonight. But families, please, please, please ask your questions this evening. You can enter your questions in the Q&A box found at the bottom of your screen. We do ask a couple of things. Make sure that your questions are related to the session's topic, and we ask that you don't resubmit your questions or ask duplicate questions. We also ask that you have patience with our panelists tonight, as they will answer as many as they can possibly get to over the course of the webinar this evening. And additionally, we have team members behind the scenes that are working to answer all of these questions as well. So don't worry if your question is not necessarily answered by one of our panelists. Excuse me. Any of the folks answering questions behind the scenes, their responses can be found under the All tab or the My Questions tab as they are answered. And at the end of the session, we will be sharing the contact information for each office represented, so you can reach out if you have additional questions or would like to talk further. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking now and turn it over to our panelists to introduce themselves, and we'll get started here with Mary Leslie.
Great. Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Leslie Patterson. I am the marketing director with Vol Dining, and I am here tonight to answer any of your meal plan questions, any questions you might have about dining on campus.
Thank you so much, Mary Leslie. We'll jump over to Moira.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, Vols. My name is Moira Binder, and I'm the communications manager for parking and transportation.
Thank you, Moira. We'll jump over to Molly.
Hi, everyone. My name is Molly Ham, and I am representing One Stop tonight, and I am a one-stop counselor.
Thank you, Molly. Last but certainly not least, Lauren.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Pygott. I am Assistant Director for Outreach for University Housing.
Thank you all so much. As you can see, families, our panelists tonight represent some great departments on campus. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm sure you're eager to have your questions answered. So again, related to these respective areas of expertise, but don't be shy about throwing your questions in the Q&A feature. So to get us started, I'm going to go ahead and kick things off and direct our first question over to Molly. Molly, One Stop covers a wide array of important information. What are one or two things that are important for new Vol family members to be aware of right now regarding One Stop?
Yeah, of course. Well, One Stop can answer questions on behalf of 4 offices, and that's financial aid, bursar, registrar, and admissions. So as most of you know, if your student has registered, statements were released today. And so One Stop can answer those questions regarding those charges. It's also important to keep in mind of important dates, like making sure that you've applied for external loans or private loans or Parent Plus loans by certain dates so that they can be processed in time and applied by payment due date.
And so I know, Molly, keeping with One Stop here, one of the questions that we often get in new student orientation is, how can parents and family members access student account information?
Yeah, absolutely. So the student can add a parent or a family member, anyone that they'd like, as an authorized user. They can do that by logging in their MyUTK, and at the top under My Resources, there's a place that says Financial FERPA Release. Once a student is enrolled, they are protected by the FERPA law, which essentially, protects their privacy. So it does limit on who we can speak with. So if you are an authorized user, then we were able to go over those financial aspects of the account with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Molly. I want to switch gears a little bit and jump over to Mary Leslie. Mary Leslie, a couple of questions for you. First and foremost, in the first session, because this is Big Four session number 2, in the first session, folks were told that dining dollars left at the end of the fall semester would roll over to the spring. Can you address kind of what happens to any remaining dining dollars after the spring semester? Are they refunded to the student, or is it kind of a use it or lose it sort of situation?
Oh, definitely. Thank you, Patrick. It is definitely a use it or lose it. So I always encourage students and parents, you do have your dining dollars that come with your meal plan that you start with in the fall. They definitely roll over to spring, and you can add more dining dollars at any time. Just be cautious of what you add, because you don't want to add too many. You definitely need to use them before the end of the spring semester. They do not roll over summer.
Thanks, Mary Leslie. One more question before we jump to a different office. For students that are moving in early, can you talk a little bit about what their dining options are?
Yeah, we're really excited this year to announce the early move-in meals. And what these are, if your student's moving in, I think the first move-in date's the 13th, is that correct? When students start moving on campus. And if you're here that week before school starts, you can purchase blocks. It's $25 a block of meals. And what this is basically dining dollars, but we've also reduced the rate in the dining halls. So not only do we have the early move-in meals, but we're also opening the dining halls early this year to accommodate students who are moving in early. And then we're also offering a reduced rate, which is $7 per meal. So students will be able to use these dollars in the retail locations and in the dining halls during that week. Let me also say that the dining dollars that come with the meal plan, those start on the 19th, and then your meal plan meals start Monday the 21st. So everything goes live from the meal plan that you've actually purchased on the 19th. If you purchase the early move-in meals, you're not going to lose those. Those dollars will roll over into your meal plan for the fall, so you won't lose anything. Okay.
Excellent, Mary Leslie. Thanks so much for that. Moira, I'm going to jump over to you. We've had a couple parking questions come in thus far, so I want to get things started. Are students able to park in any of the garages or spots on campus with their parking pass, or are they assigned to a certain garage or parking spot?
Students are not assigned to a specific garage or a lot, but they are assigned to an area. So residential students will get a non-commuter permit, an N permit, and commuter students will have a C permit for commuters. There are 22 different areas for each of the, for both of those types. That's the good news. And again, the bad news is you're not assigned to a specific parking lot or garage. So it's first come, first park. I said during Vol summer visits, this is your first Life 101 lesson of park your car, leave it parked. And there are some garages that there may be multiple permits. So you always need to make sure you're parking in the C area or the N area, such as the Stokely garage. The top levels are N, the middle is C, and the bottom level is staff. So you always got to make sure that you're paying attention to what those signs say of where you're going to park. Our parking permits will go on sale on August the 1st, bright and early in the morning for everybody. So put that date on your calendar, August 1st. And when you purchase the parking permit, it automatically drops or sends you to a credit card, but you can put it on your student account. Many students have scholarships that may take care of your parking. Just kind of depends upon the scholarship. So August 1st, and then you'll print out the temporary one, put it on your dashboard, and then the plastic hang tag will arrive in 10 days to 2 weeks. And you can have that sent to your dorm. You can again drop down of where you want it mailed to and have it sent to your dorm.
Moira, thank you so much for that detailed answer. You actually answered a couple of questions that we possibly had. So there you go. I do want to ask you one more regarding move-in before we actually transition to housing. During the move-in process and the move-in window, Moira, where should parents and families plan on parking?
Any of the N or the C lots, the students' parking spaces. Please don't park in the staff areas. Those are marked by S. We're going to have a map for you with that information, and I get to work very closely with Lauren and a couple other staffers to make sure all that information is up on websites, and the housing team is going to also make sure communication gets out to families. We have an interactive map on our UT website. On that interactive map, we will have, under special events, we'll have an area for housing and move-in. And what it'll have, you can select your own dorm that you're going to, and it'll give you a specific route to Clement or to Dogwood, because we have to manage the traffic of all these people coming into campus. But once you come to the dorms, you'll unload and then go park, because we can't have all the vehicles in front of the dorm. But you can leave that, you can unpack and decorate to your heart's content. Just leave it in the student areas and we'll be great.
Absolutely. Seamless transition over to housing and residence life. I know there's a lot of parents and families. We're getting close to move in. Lauren, what do you think, or can you share a little bit about what parents and families should be able to expect during the move-in process?
Oh yeah, they will see a sea of orange shirts waving and welcoming them, and hopefully find their residence hall easily. And just as Moira described, we're going to move them in smoothly, get that car unloaded so they can take their time up in the room to get all settled in. Just before move-in, we will send some email messaging out to make sure they know what to expect on that day. They'll be greeted by friendly staff, asked to sign a little paperwork, confirm, show us their vol cards ready to be used, and get all checked in. But yeah, it's going to be great. We're excited.
Excellent. And regarding the rooms themselves, do you think residence hall rooms will be move-in ready condition, or should parents and families expect to do some level of cleaning before setting up a room during the move-in window?
Oh, sure. Great question. Our team is really working all summer to make sure everything is ready, both from a maintenance perspective and from a custodial perspective, so that it's shiny and sparkling and ready for you when you arrive. If for some reason it isn't, we do have a team on site that's welcome to, that we just let us know, and we'll show up at that room and touch it up for you if there's a problem.
Excellent. Thank you. One final question before we jump over a little bit here. Can you talk a little bit about cable and internet access and how that works in the residence halls? Is it wired, wireless? And if it's wired, do folks need to bring cable?
Oh, great question. We have lots of options for you. So of course, we do have the Wi-Fi with the UT network on campus, but also wired with the standard Ethernet port option in every residence hall room also. When we switch over to the cable TV side, there is also still coax cable for a television connection if you would like. But then also all students on campus have access to a significant, I believe it's at campus Xfinity account with like significantly large number of cable streaming options as well. And you can of course supplement that with your own streaming that you might be bringing to campus with you. So plenty of options on both the internet side and the television side. But yes, you will need to bring a coax cable and your own Ethernet cable if you're wanting to use those connections.
Absolutely. Just so you know, parents and families, keep those questions coming. We've got a lot of questions that we'd like to get through, but please don't feel shy about asking your questions here. I'm so glad we touched on scholarships very briefly. Molly, I wanted to jump over to you in One Stop. When will scholarship awards be posted to student accounts?
So financial aid has actually already posted to students' accounts. So if your student does not have their scholarship posted, it could be maybe enrollment, maybe their courses are not meeting their course program of study, or they're not meeting the full requirement of full time. There could be a couple of reasons, but the scholarship should now be applied to their balance.
And I guess a follow-up to that, Molly, does this include the Parent Plus loans?
So Parent Plus loans have not been added to students' accounts. They will be added within the next couple of weeks. So if you have been approved and you are just waiting on the university, then it should be applied on the student's account within the next couple of weeks. You'll want to make sure that you've already completed that parent, the master promissory note that is required when you complete a Parent Plus loan, because it will show on your student's award, but then it will not actually pay out if you have not completed all the requirements for it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Molly. And one final question real quickly. Can you talk a little bit about the 1098-T form and what it's used for, and what is, I guess, what you all expect from the one-stop office on how those should be submitted?
Yeah, absolutely. So the 1098-T form is something that a student is going to get annually. It's an annual statement that provides the amount of payments applied to qualified tuition and related expenses, less than the refunds, that they've received in a calendar year. So they'll only get that typically in January of each year for, their expenses.
Thanks, Molly. Moira, I guess your answers garnered some additional questions here, so I'm going to go ahead and turn some things over to you. Regarding parking passes, if a student doesn't necessarily need a parking pass until the spring, should they still look to fill out the parking to purchase a parking pass on the 1st of August, or should they wait?
They should wait. They should wait because I want to save you some money. Parking passes for residential students this year are $310 for the fall and spring combined. And on about December 19th or so, after the first semester is done, I cut that price in half. So wait till December to purchase that that parking permit.
Excellent. That's great advice. And maybe for folks who don't bring their cars to campus and folks who might bring their bicycle or some other method of transportation similar, do students need to register those bicycles or things along those lines?
Yes, actually, we've got a new process for this. We finally got that registration form online. So I'm working a few kinks out, but that'll be up online by August the 1st. And then you will, so you'll fill out the information, give us the make, model, color of your bike, and then you could pick up the parking or the bike permit either at Circle Park Information Booth, which is next to the Torchbearer, or at T-Rex. There's a wonderful bike shop at T-Rex. You just enter the building from their loading dock with your bike. But they also do repairs there. They're just an amazing team. So you can pick it up right on campus, trying to make it as convenient as possible.
Absolutely. And so we always are inviting families to come and visit their students at the University of Tennessee. If parents or families want to come and visit during the school year, will they need a temporary parking pass? And if so, how would they go about getting that temporary pass?
Yeah, we sell the one-day parking permits at the Circle Park booth, 7:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Again, remember, you don't need that for move-in. But $5 for parking for the day. And then our team at Circle Park would figure out where you would go, where you would be able to park for that day. I can't say specifically because it all depends upon which special events are going on campus. Please note, this is not available on game days. But yeah, we'd love to have you come to campus. You can ride the bus. You can ride the T-trolley downtown, or the trolley for Knoxville Area Transit. But yeah, we'd love to have you on campus. If you're just coming for an hour, you could always park at Vol Hall Garage. They have parking by the hour. It's actually $1 for every half an hour. So just kind of depend upon, if you're only there for a little bit of time, that might be your best option.
Wonderful. So parents and families, make sure you all come and visit. We want to make sure that we invite you to campus and hope you have a good time as you're here. Lauren, I want to transition over to you for a couple questions, if that's okay. Keeping with the mentioning some cleanliness, for folks that are living in community style residence halls, those community style bathrooms, how often are those bathrooms cleaned? Or is it weekly, every other day? Can you share a little bit about that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, the community bathrooms are daily. Yeah, they're in there every day cleaning and sanitizing, double checking it before they leave for the day.
Absolutely. And regarding packages, packages being shipped to each residence hall, can packages be mailed to residence halls before this a particular student's move-in date? And if so, are there any limits on the types of packages, the size, and will they be safe?
Sure. Yep, all of our mail is received centrally on campus. The most important thing to remember when you're pre-shipping your items, make sure it's your student's full name. We prefer no nicknames. Go ahead and list your student's room number on there, and then the address of the residence hall. The address for each individual residence hall is listed on the housing options tab for that page's information. It's just listed right there. It'd be the same thing also if you Googled it, that'd be correct. But yeah, please go ahead and send larger items or items that you can't bring on your travels. Packed really nicely and clearly labeled for us. That will help. And then those will be delivered to the residence halls. And so each hall has its own mail room that does have storage. And please be patient with us too, because there's going to be a lot of items coming in that the centralized mail service will be distributing. And it won't be necessarily a reflection of what you can expect the rest of the year in terms of how long it may take to transfer to you. But it is possible. We ask that you really kind of use your clicking smarts and do the best you can to have that arrive as close to when you're getting there as possible. Please don't send it now. Please wait at least until August to start those processes for us, because just to help out our friends in mail services. But of course, that is allowed.
And speaking of the move-in process and packing and how parents and families should pack, regarding, I guess, the move-in window itself and maybe items that might be too heavy to carry or bulky items or things along those lines, will Housing and Residence Life be providing, or University Housing, will University Housing be providing carts for folks to assist in the move-in process?
Oh yeah, great question. Yes, we will have carts of different types available, in addition to, depending on your hall and the time you arrive, some extra hands are often there as well. That could be some of our wonderful university staff that choose to volunteer and assist with move-in day on campus, so that's really neat. You might meet one of your professors or a staff member here. In addition, we also have some halls that use some professional movers. You'll see them in their different shirts as well. Extra hands to help you with those heavy items, and carts available as well. Definitely.
Thanks, Lauren. Mary Leslie, I'm going to turn over to Vol Dining for a couple of moments here. First and foremost, can you talk about the different meal plan options and how students should go ahead and sign up for their meal plan?
Okay, definitely. If you are a first-time freshman living on campus, or if your student is a first-time freshman living on campus, they will automatically be assessed the 7-day all access plan. Now, what this allows them, this plan is it's access to the dining hall 7 days a week, unlimited times. They also have the option to switch to a 5-day plan. Now, the 7-day plan is just as it states, it's Monday through Sunday. The 5-day plan is a Monday through Friday plan. That plan was designed for students who might go home on the weekends or might have jobs and they're just not here to dine on campus over the weekend. If your student is definitely going to be here 7 days a week, I would stay on that 7-day plan. There are also block plans. A lot of our commuter students they can choose from any of the plans that we have. A lot of them like the block plans. Probably the best advice I could give a student would be to go online, go to dining.utk.edu and look at the meal plans, and then look at the plan that's best going to fit your schedule and your lifestyle. Students have up to 28 days after the first day of class to switch their plans. So let's say they buy a plan that's too big within that first 28 days, they realize, hey, I'm not using all these meals, they can switch to a smaller plan during those first 28 days. So you're not locked in until the 29th day. Both of my children are graduates of UT, and they both had meal plans. I did have to pay for them. They weren't for free, but anyway, it just worked out really well for us. I mean, even in the end, when they became, juniors and seniors, they were on the dining dollar plan. That just worked well for them to, one loved Starbucks, the other one loved the dining hall. It just worked really well for us. But if you ever have any questions, please reach out to us. But I would say, look at your lifestyle, look at your dining practices, and pick the best plan that's going to work for you and your schedule.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned kind of the dining dollar piece of things. How or where can students see their dining dollar balance, and how can parents and families add some money to the dining dollars if they might be running short?
Okay. Students can see their balances on their MyUTK statement. So they can go there. They can look at everything to do with their meal plan. Now, parents and students can add dining dollars at any time. All you have to do is go to the website, dining.utk.edu, click on dining dollars. There's a link that says add dining dollars. And what that is going to do, it's going to take you to the vault to MyUTK, and you can log in as a parent or guest and add money that way too. You can add throughout the year. Follow us on social media, because each semester we run promotions where if you add, you get a bonus. So let's say if you add $50, you'll get 15% for free. So we do that twice per semester. So definitely follow us on social media.
Absolutely. You mentioned earlier talking about, interested students working for Vol Dining. I know that Vol Dining is one of the largest student employers on campus. And I could also say the same for Housing and Residence Life. I know that for a fact. So Lauren, be ready. I'm coming to you next with the same question. Mary Leslie, how can students apply for Vol Dining jobs?
They can sign up online. Once again, I keep saying that website, dining.utk.edu. Go to that website, click on careers. It'll take you to a website where you look for student employment. I mean, if there's a parent out there looking for a job, we're hiring all the time. We have between 750 and 850 employees per semester. And out of that number, probably 350 to 400 are students. The best part about working on campus is that we work around the student schedule. So let's say we know students have exams, right? We know students have to go to class. They want to go to ball games. They have social lives. So I always say we plug and play. So we work the students into our schedule. So we have students that only work 4 hours a week, for spending money. So we work around the schedule. The starting rate of pay is $13 an hour with Vol Dining. If you have experience, you can definitely negotiate, for a higher wage. And we want you to apply, so please do.
Thanks, Mary Leslie.
Thank you.
Lauren, I prefaced it with University Housing being one of the other large student employers on campus. Can you share a little bit about how students can be involved in employment within University Housing?
Oh, sure. There are a couple of ways. One that you can start for first-year students, we have office assistants. They work the front desk at all of the residence halls on campus. Those desks are open every time the residence hall is open. Those desks are open for you 24/7 to answer your questions, help you with maintenance issues, key or access issues. If that interests you at all, and you also would like kind of a unique, flexible schedule, or you really are a night owl and prefer to maybe do some studying and some assisting of your peers between midnight and 6 a.m., that might be the job for you. So office assistants are what those are called. In addition, you will meet and get to know your resident assistant. If you really like interacting with them and like the job that they're doing, maybe you would like to be a future resident assistant or RA. That process will start in the fall with a series of interviews. And then in the spring, if you're selected to move forward, you take a 1-credit course before being selected for that position. And you would, again, assist residents on the floor, just like the experience you'll have upon arrival. Those are our two biggest ones, with office assistants really being the one you could jump right into. There's also some volunteer and kind of student organization activities you can get involved in, including your hall association or hall council. So look out for those activities as well. You can maybe be a representative for your floor or your building as part of our larger residence hall association. So that would be a really great opportunity as well. All of that, like Mary Leslie, I'm going to say, is on our website as well, housing.utk.edu. Go down to that About Us section, and you'll see the student employment information there.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lauren. And Lindsay Davis has linked that in the chat for everyone. So please feel free to take a look at both of those websites if you are interested in working on campus at either one of those wonderful, wonderful offices. I'm going to jump to Moira for a question, then hop over to Molly for a couple. Moira, we're going to start with you. You mentioned earlier about some community transportation, riding the T, things along those lines. So is there a shuttle that goes from campus to downtown Knoxville?
There is the Knoxville Area Transit CAT bus has a trolley that goes through campus. It's their orange line, and it'll go downtown for free. Runs about every half an hour or so, and you can actually see it on the CAT bus app. And just hop on. You don't have to show anything. And there's lots of amazing things downtown. So yeah, that's the free one to downtown. And then there's a free one on campus, which is the T bus. The T buses are very subtle, just like the University of Tennessee. They're big and orange with smoky on them, so you can't miss them. Again, you do not need to show an ID or anything to get on the bus. We're excited because we just signed a new contract with the company that we work with, and in about 1.5 years, we're going to have our first electric buses on campus. So the buses are paid for by a transportation fee. So you may have seen that on your student's account. So the transportation fee pays for the bus system, so the students can ride for free, including out to Sorority Village, into the fort, all over campus.
Excellent. Thank you, Moira. As promised, Molly, we're going to swap over to you for a couple of questions. First and foremost, how do students opt out of UTK insurance if they are still covered by their parents' health insurance plans?
So actually, you will need to get in contact with the Student Health Center to be able to get the assistance to opt out of the insurance provided for the students.
Excellent. Thank you. And I'm sure we'll have that website linked here in the chat in just a moment. And secondly, Molly, if there is a current balance on a student's account, is that the balance for the semester, or is that the balance for the entire year?
Yeah, great question. It is a balance for the semester. So we bill on a semester basis. So you will not see the charge for spring until closer to that time, and then there'll be a separate payment due date for spring semester.
Thanks, Molly. Mary Leslie, our conversation about meal plans has sparked a couple additional questions. So I'm going to speak to you for just a moment. For students who are automatically assessed the Tennessee 7 or can have the Tennessee 7 or the 5, is it possible for students to opt out of having a meal plan? And if so, what does that process look like?
The Tennessee, if a student is living on campus, it is mandatory that they have one of the two plans, the unlimited 7 or the 5. So it's a mandatory plan. We encourage students to get the plan, use the plan. When you do the math and budget it out and look at how many times your student's going to be eating on campus, and there are over 40 options for dining on campus. It's definitely a plan that is budget friendly, and it will definitely meet the needs of the students while they're on campus.
I remember you mentioned earlier something about a flex plan, right? So what is the flex plan, the flex meal plan? And I guess, what is it used off campus for, if that makes sense?
Okay, what the flex plan is, if a student who is not a freshman living on campus, other students, let's say commuters and upperclassmen living off campus, have the option to either purchase one of the Ball Dining meal plans. And if they don't purchase one of the Ball Dining meal plans, they will automatically be assessed the flex plan. Now, what the flex plan is, The flex plan is 300 flex plan dollars that can be used for dining on campus. It can be used at the Vol Shop. It can be used at Vol Tech. So it can be used on campus. These dollars cannot be used at off-campus restaurants. But what you can do with the flex plan, at the end of the semester, you have the option to request a refund, roll the flex dollars over to your Vol Card account, or apply it to tuition. So there's some options with the flex plan, but any student not living on campus who doesn't have a Vol Dining meal plan will definitely be automatically assess the $300 flex plan. So there are some options there. Now, one other piece of that is that if they do roll it over to their Vol Card account, which is another account that you have to make purchases with on campus, you can use those Vol Card dollars at several different locations off campus, and you can find that on the Vol Card webpage online.
Thanks for clarifying that for us, Mary Leslie. One of the things that I know a lot of students are really excited for is the new, as of last year, Rocky Top Dining Hall. And I know one of my favorite features is the True Balance upstairs. Can you talk a little bit about what that is, and specifically talk through, I guess, vegetarian dining options for students, and how they can go about seeing what those services, or seeing where they can get some of those options?
Most definitely. I'd love to tell everybody about True Balance. So True Balance is an allergen-friendly station in the Rocky Top Dining Hall. And by allergen-friendly, they have taken away the top 9 food allergens that are out there. And I could name them for you now, but I won't do that. They're definitely on our website. But if a student has, let's say, a gluten allergy, the unique thing about this station is everything is managed separately. So the products that we receive into this location are received in there separately. They're stored away from the other products. So you're not going to have something that contains flour next to something that's gluten-free, right? Something with gluten next to something that's not gluten. We also have separate warewashing there, and we also have everything is separate utensils, everything. So you can't bring a plate that you've used at another buffet in the dining hall over to True Balance and, let's say, get your Brussels sprouts or whatever it might be. The employees that work that station go through intensive training. We also have a dietitian on campus. Her name is Taylor Koenigs. You can reach her at volnutrition at utk.edu. She is excellent. She works with student health and disability services, and everything is extremely confidential, any information that you share with her. But she can provide dietary plans for students who have dietary needs and work with them on a one-on-one basis. We also have vegan and vegetarian options. Those options are at every station that we have on campus. They're definitely in the Rocky Top Dining Hall. They're over at Stokely and the Fresh Food Company in Stokely Hall. And then we have vegetarian options at our retail brands across campus, as well as in our pod markets too. So we have vegetarian options just about everywhere on campus. And we encourage, students and families, give us a call. If you ever have a question about anything, that's why we're here. Just call us. We're here to answer any questions, and we look forward to answering your questions.
Absolutely. So it is almost 7:40, so I'm going to go ahead and give 1 or 2 more questions warning for folks. So if you've got parents and families, if you have questions that you'd like to have answered, please submit those in the Q&A. We'd love to get to them today if we have the time. But again, I do remind you that we've got folks behind the scenes answering those questions. So again, please keep them coming. So I do want to jump over really quickly to back to Moira. Moira, you mentioned the app for CAT Transit. Is there an app for the T-Bus on campus, and that I guess shares how often it runs and where it runs and where it currently is?
Yes, there are. There's 2 apps actually. There's one for the University of Tennessee, the Tennessee app, and that would the students would go on to the icon for the bus, and that will show you in real time where the buses are, because all of our buses have GPS. The other one is called Transloc. Transloc will also show you that information, but the additional functionality that app has is that you can create an account for yourself, and if you need the T-Link, that one of the nighttime on-demand services, to pick you up from someplace that's not on the bus route, you can actually do that. On our website, parking@utk.edu, on the front page, I have a link. There's some pictures. You can scroll to the new Vols presentation. And at the very end of that presentation, I have the QR codes for the Tennessee app and for the Transloc app, both the Apple version and the Google Play version.
I love that. And I love that they do the service where you can call them and they'll come pick you up. It is an absolutely wonderful service. I really encourage students, if you are watching, please utilize that service. I do want to jump over, Lauren, back to you for just a couple of moments as we begin to close down here. Lauren, does UT Housing do cleaning in the suite style bathrooms? I know we touched on community style, but could you talk a little bit about the suite style bathrooms and cleaning those?
Oh, sure. Yes, we also clean those as well. Those are on a monthly schedule. So we do recommend that your students bring some additional cleaning supplies and work out a little schedule with their suite mates about who's going to take turns to kind of just sanitize your surfaces, send them with a toilet brush and a toilet cleaner so they know how to use that. They can supplement that in between.
Excellent. And I do know that, especially when I was moving into my first year residence hall, I brought a lot of stuff with me, and I needed as much space as I possibly could in my residence hall. So I'm going to bring up a question, Lauren, you might laugh at this, just because we talk so much about it. Can students purchase loft kits?
Oh, sure. If specifically for students that are in Reese, North Carrick, and South Carrick. Those are the only ones that can participate in our loft rental program. Those are available through College Products. Just Google College Products, you may see that, but otherwise it's collegeproducts.com/Knox, gets you right to the campus page. But even if you just in that landing page, you can then type in the University of Tennessee, you'll see the options. They've been offering a full loft and a junior loft option. If you order before August 1st, they'll have that set up in your room for you when you arrive, which will be great. That will allow for some special extra storage for you. But again, that's just for those 3 buildings. If you're in any of our other buildings, a lot of times the other buildings have adjustable, or they're already in a lofted position, like our residents in Hess and Clement. Or depending on your building, you may want to bring a set of those small bed risers that look like an upside down plastic cup, like these little guys. That'll give you a little lift, but don't bring too much. Don't be like Patrick, don't bring everything. Leave a little bit at home. Leave your mind and your room to grow with your college experience. But hopefully that helps with your planning.
Absolutely. Excuse me. Moira, one question I do want to pose for you really quickly. Are there any low-cost parking options for students who are only using maybe their car a few times throughout the semester?
Yes, there are. We have a lot called economy parking, and I'll be putting up some images of that onto our website in the next day or two of where that is. But if your student is only going to be using their car a couple times during the year to go home for the holidays and stuff like that, it's only $105 for the entire year. So instead of $310, it is only $105. And students really on campus use the bus system to get around, use the trolley to get downtown, and they have friends that have cars. So if you want that option, you would come into the office. The students would come into the office when they got to campus to purchase that permit. But yes, and there will actually be a daytime shuttle called Cherokee Mills that will serve that area, and the T-Link bus would serve that area at night. So we will have transportation over there, but economy parking, EN, economy non-commuters, what that lot's going to be called, and we do have that option available. Thanks, Patrick.
Oh, of course. What an amazing cost savings that can be. And again, we really encourage students to utilize the T-Link bus, to utilize CAT Transit. It is a wonderful service on campus, so we cannot stress that enough. So it is close to 7:45, so I am actually going to post our final question to each of our wonderful panelists here. First and foremost, panelists, thank you for participating with us here this evening. Thank you for all the wonderful insight. Again, our one final question, and we'll start with Molly. Molly, what is the best way to contact your office if parents and families have additional questions and they'd like to reach out?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're welcome to give our office a call at 865-974-1111. You can email us at onestop@utk.edu. And then if you're local or you're on campus, we are located on the ground floor of Hodges Library. We're open from 9 to 5, and so it's walk-in only. So you're welcome to come by, speak with the counselor, and we can go over with all of those questions with you in person.
Thank you so much, Molly. Moira, same question to you.
You can reach us at parking@utk.edu. Again, also on that front page is where that presentation is. Our phone number is 865-974-6031. And if you want to talk to me, you can send an email to that address and say, I need to talk to that lady from orientation who did the webinar. And they'll get it to me, and I will follow up with you individually.
Thank you so much, Moira. Lauren, same question.
All right. Yep, you see it there. Definitely email us, housing@utk.edu. Again, please shout me out. I'm in the inbox just about all day, or you can give us a call. That number listed there, 865-974-2571.
Thanks, Lauren. Last but certainly not least, Mary Leslie.
Yes, you can definitely reach us at utdining@utk.edu or call the number that's on the page. You can also email me directly. It's patterson-mary@aramark.com, and I will definitely get back in touch with you.
Thank you, Mary Leslie. New Vol families, thank you so much again for joining us tonight for the Tennessee Family Series. Before we conclude for the evening, I would like to share briefly just a few reminders. Please take a moment to complete the session survey. You can follow the link that is posted in the chat box or that is sent out in the post-session email. New Vols, if you have not already from an orientation lens, don't forget to complete your Vol 101. It's our online orientation module. They are due, the deadline to complete those is the day that classes start, so make sure that you are getting those completed before coming onto campus. It does not take that long, only an hour to an hour and a half, so we really, really encourage you to get those finished up. And lastly, we look forward to welcoming you to campus in just a few short weeks. We are so excited to host you all, and we cannot wait to have you on campus. Lastly, we'd love to stay connected with you and your family and encourage you to join the Tennessee Family Association. You can see the website and the link there on the screen. So with that being said, you see our next session, Student Success, is July 27th. And have a wonderful evening, and go Vols.